Hey everyone, Gabe Mateos with you, representing Life Endeavors Marketing LLC. Today I'm going to be talking to you about SEPP arrangements, what they are, how to calculate, and kind of touching on some of the benefits and drawbacks of the SEPP arrangements as well. So what is a SEPP arrangement? The SEPP arrangement is the SEPP portion of the SEPP arrangement stands for Substantial Equal Periodic Payments. The history behind this is back about 20 years ago. The IRS, for purposes of emergency funds, if individual needs them, or if someone is under age 59 and a half, basically, the SEPP arrangement allows them to make withdrawals under certain guidelines within the Internal Revenue Code without being assessed a 10% premature penalty. Basically, when it comes to annuities, when it's a non-IRA or an IRA annuity, if withdrawals are made before age 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty tax that is assessed to the taxable portion of that penalty. So for purposes of a SEPP arrangement, these types of withdrawals, if they're made within the IRS regulations, basically avoid or remove that 10% penalty that's being assessed in those withdrawals. But it's very tricky, these types of arrangements, because they have to be made, they have to stay basically consistent throughout the life of the payments. They cannot be modified. If they are modified, those penalties, the 10% penalty would be assessed to the taxpayer. So these are very heavily regulated type of payments. There's three methods of calculating a substantial equal periodic payment. The first one is the amortized method. So with the amortized method, the payments stay the same every year. Basically what's happening there is that the life expectancy of the payments is made on the life expectancy of the taxpayer or its beneficiary or beneficiaries. Remember, with these types of payments, they're almost like annuitized payments, meaning that you have an annuitant, which in this instance a lot of times would be the taxpayer, or they may name a joint annuitant to pay those payments out over the joint lives of individuals. And the life expectancy tables of those individuals are used along with the federal midterm rate of 120%. But the rate cannot be more than that. Let me clarify. The federal midterm rate must be no greater than 120%. So with those variables, then the amortized payments are made. The payments must continue. They cannot be modified up until the individual reaches age 59 and a half, or the payments remain the same, whichever is greater. That's something to consider, whichever is greater. The annuitization method also, the payments remain every year. In this type of method, you're using an annuity factor that's determined by the IRS mortality tables that are within the Internal Revenue Code. You're also using a rate no greater than 120%, and also the age of the taxpayer and or the beneficiary or the secondary annuitant that's being used to determine those payments. Lastly, you have the R&D method. That's basically where you're dividing the account balance of that IRA or non-IRA annuity that you're using the SEPP arrangement for. And then every year you're dividing the life expectancy of, again, the annuitant, taxpayer, and or beneficiary that they're using to determine those payments. So I use taxpayer and annuitant in the same respect or the same breadth. A lot of times, though, they may be different, but for purposes of determining a life expectancy, just like any annuity, you have to have the life expectancy of an individual. It cannot be of a trust or a business for obvious reasons. So with that being said, we come to the end of the presentation on the SEPP arrangements. They are, just a couple of side comments here, they are complex type of payments, so I do recommend that you speak to a financial advisor, a tax advisor, before establishing these types of payments, these types of arrangements. And I do want to get your thoughts and comments on these types of arrangements, and hopefully you found this to be beneficial. Thank you.